Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Gray, and we're just plain living here.
Good morning, John. I'm Peggy Burton. It's good to see you again.
Peggy?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since there's been any rain around here.
Oh, I got rain this weekend.
Did you?
A
little bit?
And a couple of days ago, Sunday, I think.
Saturday.
So, well, that's
But we
good.
needed it. We needed
But
it
the
really
trees
bad.
are pretty. The trees are
Trees
turning
are
pretty.
absolutely beautiful. My yard is full of trees, as you might know. Woods. My woods are full
Right.
of trees, and they're all colors. They're
All colors. Isn't
really
it beautiful? And, you know, this is what, this time of year is what we live in this part of the country for. There's about a month in the fall and a month in the spring to where the sky is crystal blue and the temperature is just perfect.
It's really nice.
And it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. It's fall. Halloween.
Are you?
Downtown.
I'm in costume.
Thursday. This Thursday.
All over town, right?
All over town. The kids are coming to town, and all the stores downtown who have orange ribbons on their door
Oh, they're going to be open?
they'll have trick-or-treat candy for all the kids. And
That's
a lot
awesome.
of these churches and school kids and stuff, they'll be marching through town, all these little monsters and ghouls and hooligans. And it's just so much fun to watch.
They'll be safe. I think
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
a beautiful thing
And a lot
to
of
do.
trunk or treat stuff going on
Oh
at
my
different
gosh,
churches.
when we used to be in the
and-
military, if we were living in the United States especially, Halloween would come and provinces and other cities would bring all their kids and unload them at the Air Force Base.
Well, of course.
It was kind of sweet. You know, the little kids love Halloween, and they wear their little costumes, and some are there just to load up on candy, which I think is terrible.
You know, and there's a whole lot of places around outside of the city limits, the Granddaddy's Farm and this deal and that deal where they've got all this Halloween stuff set up, and you can go and
that's
drive
fun.
through, and the lights blinking, and ghouls and
Yeah,
goblins.
I see it getting bigger and bigger every year, and before long it's going to be as big as Christmas, it seems. You know, the lighting up of the homes, and there's been a lot of
It's
that.
amazing. And, you know, I was walking through Walmart, Lowe's. I was walking through Lowe's. I was looking for something. And I walked by this skeleton that was like 15 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
And he was worth about $275. And I've seen those things and all over town.
Well,
People spend $275,
For a
$300 for one decoration.
well,
It's amazing to me how that money flow
Oh yeah.
runs. And
Especially in
there's
a time when,
everybody.
Yeah, that's expensive to
Everybody's
me.
decorated up. Well, look at us. Look, we got our pumpkins out, and of course we'll be using that stuff all the way through.
November,
For Thanksgiving.
right?
You know, because that's pumpkin time
That's
too.
pumpkin time too.
Turkey time.
It'll
You know,
be
and
here
we
before
have.
we know it.
Oh, by the way, Tullahoma High School won their ball game Friday night against Spring Hill. Shelbyville beat Lincoln County, who was undefeated. Both of
Wow.
them were
That's
undefeated.
pretty
We were
awesome.
beaten by Lincoln County
Yeah.
by 3 points, I believe. So this Friday night at home for senior night, Shelbyville, undefeated, comes to Tullahoma with one loss, and whoever wins that game will be number one in the region.
That's wonderful. It'll be a great game.
So it's a big ball game, and so we want to make sure everybody shows up for that.
We have a good team.
Have a good team. Have a good team.
That's
Have a
it.
good coach. Good support. Good food.
Good food.
Good
Always.
food.
Always
They have a great
something
hot
to eat.
dog. They have that prime rib sandwich.
Yeah,
Hamburger at the ball game, best hamburger you can get.
that's great. And nothing tastes better than a hamburger or
Or
a
a big old hot dog
at a
with
ball
mustard
game,
and
yeah.
onion on it and dill pickle. Ooh, Ooh, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to make a little announcement here. And I say that because of this. I love a hot dog.
I like hot dogs.
And there was a veteran who had a little traveling hot dog stand that moved around town for a while, and he had a really, really, really good hot dog. And then Getmore, over behind the liquor locker, that little sandwich shop over there, she had a real good hot dog. And both of them are gone now, and I've been going around trying to find a hot dog. Well,
nobody's selling them.
Downtown sandwich shop.
Oh, do they sell them?
Somebody told me, well, it was Romero, the singer at South Jackson. His mother and dad run that shop.
Next to Clayton's, right?
Yes, yeah, well, it's down the street from Clayton's.
On that strip.
On the other side of 122 West. I went in there and get a hot dog. Let me tell you what, that is one fine hot dog. So if you're a hot dog connoisseur, go give them a try.
Sandwich shop, you just got a free commercial.
Downtown sandwich shop. Well, we get to do that.
They are wonderful people.
We get to do that.
They are very giving people.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are, and very talented. So all kinds of things going on. We've got Hope with the Chamber of Commerce and Mr. McNabb here today.
Right.
And they announced Sandy and R.J. Hayes as the Grand Marshals.
I was really pleased at that selection.
Of the Christmas parade. Yes.
R.J. Hayes is.
He's like the Energizer Bunny.
Nobody can do it. He had open heart surgery, and then he was back at the Civic Center putting together something.
Building a set.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
And Sandy, what a great contributor to the community.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful.
So I think that was a great choice.
Exactly what it needs to be.
Great choice.
Exactly what it needs to be. You know, I hope everybody has voted. If you haven't, you still have Election Day is next Tuesday.
Have you voted?
I've voted.
I have too.
I've been voted.
Been voted?
I've been voted. Well, I usually like to go on Election Day, but we've got so much going on with doctor's appointments and stuff that I didn't know whether I'd be able to do it. But I really like going on Election Day.
That's why.
Because that's when you have.
That's like going to the fair or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, and years ago you didn't have any early voting. You voted on Election Day, or you didn't vote.
You're right about that.
But now we have about a month to vote, which is very, very smart.
And I hope everybody takes it seriously to vote. I mean, this is your big chance to make your choice.
I have never seen as much commercialization of people telling people to vote. This is not a commercial for a candidate.
No.
This is the NFL.
Yeah.
Saying go vote. And there was one the other day that was one of the coaches who is a Latino, and he was telling his players
to vote.
And he would, whatever he said in American, he said in Spanish.
I love
this
that.
is our opportunity to vote. You say you want stuff, everybody, and it is out there now. Whether the people will vote more or less than they normally do, I don't know, but there are really people pushing it.
They're pushing. I have one thing I'd like to say about politicians. I wish they'd all just say nice things. You know, sometimes that's either side, the independent.
Well, of course.
I mean,
nobody wants to hear nice things. Everybody wants to hear bad things.
Sometimes I think it's better not to say anything than a bad thing. But
then you won't get elected.
Well, I know.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
You know, the whole issue with me is I don't think it'll ever change until there's term limits and a cap on spending. I don't think the richer candidate should have a better chance because they can spend more money. I think both candidates, all the candidates, need to have a level playing ground and spend none of them get to spend, let's say it's $5 million or $10 million. That's all you get. Can't spend any more.
And then you say to yourself, how nice that would fit into the budget the government's budget.
Sure.
All that money spent on election. I've always wondered why it takes so much money, but I realize putting out signs and
It's
you know,
whoever
costs-
has the most commercials right before the election is usually who wins, and the one who has the most is the one who has the most money, because they can afford to buy twice as many as the other
There's
person.
one thing I'd like to say. I hope they don't need my money.
They don't. Oh, look at that! You just hit that camera, and look at this beautiful shot. Nobody's seen our room. Look how big that room is.
Is
Isn't
it all,
that pretty?
all that red?
Here we come. We're closing
We're
in
closing
right
in,
now.
all right.
Look at there. Are we good? That's it. That's good. That's good.
That's Julia working her magic.
Julia's working magic. She did something by mistake that was absolutely wonderful. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Isn't that great? Live TV, it's just a wonderful thing.
It is. We're lucky to have 2 television stations in Tullahoma.
Yes, we are.
And I
And
think both
this show
go all
plays
around
on both
middle.
of them.
And does everybody know how to get this channel? It's 123.
It's on 193.
193.
193, or you can go on YouTube to Channel 6, the number 6, the link,
But you
or
have,
the
to
link.
you have to have Charter TV to go to 193.
No, you just
I
go
thought
to
you
your
did.
internet and go to our YouTube channel.
Well, I know.
But on 93, yeah, you got to have
I'm
Spectrum.
talking about on the TV. Yeah.
Spectrum, or this show plays on LightTube.
Right.
So,
But I don't have either one.
well,
So I go to YouTube.
so you go to YouTube. See, we're there for everybody. Everybody.
There's some nice things that happen in this town. I was reading the paper and I was real pleased about the baby box in the
Baby
that
box?
the firemen have put in, or I think that was
They were
right,
the main push on it. Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was very touching. And
And of course, we had John Rickman on, and he was the
what a great article in
Clyde
the
Smith
paper on him.
Award
Yeah.
winner.
And I was
Well
so proud
deserved.
of John.
Great guy.
Everybody loves him.
Everybody loves
I
John.
love John. He's just one of the finest young men I ever knew. He's a young man to me.
We're all young, Peggy.
Forever young.
Forever young. That's a great line. That's a song, isn't it? Forever
It's a song.
young.
Yeah, it's a song.
Yeah. Who sang
Have you
that?
written any songs lately?
Yeah, sort of.
Have you been motivated to pick out of the air a new title?
Yeah, I have. And I can't remember what it is. So that's why I write all that stuff down. You know, if you're a writer and something comes to you, don't just write the title down or that line down. What I have to do is I have to flesh it out and write down why that meant something to
Yeah.
me. Because if you do, and a lot of times I'll go through I have an empty hook book, and that means they're not finished. The hook's there,
The hook's there, but
the rest of
the
it's
rest
not.
of it.
And I go, well, that sounds, why did I put that
Yeah.
down? And so I go on it on my computer, and it doesn't have anything but those words.
But
and I'm
it'll
saying,
melt
well, you
into
idiot.
something.
What, it meant something at
Yeah.
the time. So take the time to go write down why that was important to you
I have a title for you.
at that
Before
moment.
My Song Is Sung.
Before my song is sung. I think that's been done.
It has?
I think
I've
so.
never heard it. Anyway, I thought it'd be a nice title.
Oh yeah, before it's finished, before my song is sung.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there's
Before My
of course,
Song Is
there
Finished.
are
Maybe that's better.
There are no new ideas.
They're all been done.
They've
at
all
some
it's
point.
every emotion has been done. It's just finding another way to say it a little bit better,
Right.
you know. And so I heard today that Morgan Wallen, who was a guy they wouldn't even play on the radio a couple of years, has the #1 song in the world,
Oh, wow.
all genres.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that country radio wouldn't play
And
because he did something they didn't like. So,
the publicity.
but he was,
can
kill
your ideas.
but the thing about it is, if you watch the fans award shows versus the industry award shows, the people who win the awards are never the same.
Yeah, you're right.
Rarely. what the industry says is the best and what the fans say is best
Not
are two
necessarily
completely
the
different things.
same. That's true.
And I don't understand that because the fans are the ones that buy the albums.
And it looks
That's
like
where the
that-
money
that's-
stream
that
is.
should make a difference.
It should
You're
make
right.
a great bunch of difference.
It should make a big difference.
Here's one I wrote because of a movie, and I wanted to read this again. This is a lyric, but it's also a pretty good statement. It's hard to have both roots and wings, be tied to the ground and wish for the sky. Leave the limbs that lifted you up through many things, not knowing if you have the skills to fly. The rare air of stars, champions, kings, and the occasional dreamer who turns roots to wings. The chance you take as you reach for a star is forgetting what made you who you are. The teacher, the preacher, friends, family, things taught, bought, and fought for so you can see. The region above where the free bird's voice rings, and the occasional dreamer who turns roots to wings. It's hard to have both roots and wings, but the few who achieve it can have anything. Stay grounded enough for the race to be won, yet soar through the heavens and shine like the sun in the rare air of stars, champions, kings, and the occasional dreamer who turns roots to wings.
That's nice, John.
So, don't give up on your dream. Work for your dream, and guess what? You can have it.
You can
in
have
the
it.
United States of America. And the one way that you can assure that is always true is cast your vote. We'll be right back.
I want to invite y'all to come by Clayton's, downtown Tullahoma. We try to serve the community, the area, and we try to help people with their feet and comfortable shoes. We still measure feet. We have a great new arch mat. We have insoles. Please come see us at Clayton's and let me help you find some comfortable shoes for those achy feet.
We're gonna fit your style. We're gonna make you smile. Service and quality at Clayton's Shoe Store. We're gonna fit your style.
My husband was diagnosed with a spinal infection. He lost his ability to swallow and the movement of his legs.
I couldn't turn over in bed, I couldn't walk, I couldn't eat.
They were just wonderful in the treatment and care they gave my husband.
I regained my mobility where I was able to go home.
It is miraculous.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker boards.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at shecanstem.com.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop with Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration, your #1 hometown HVAC company. We offer dependable and reliable service on all your HVAC equipment. We also offer high-efficiency trained cooling units. Call us for your cooling needs. Your comfort is what we do.
It's summer, call Stroop.
Saul, how's my water quality expert? Litter is taking a holiday and going with the flow? Is that what you're saying? Oh, litter on our roadways is flowing into our waterways. Gotcha. And that's bad. Right, terrible. Please stop. Oh, okay, yeah. Go to NobodyTrashesTennessee.com to learn more. So, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? If you try to get from point A to point B, and you've got a bunch of stuff that you need to move from point A to point B, there's one way to do it, and that's have a convoy. And the lady who's in here right now has had a convoy for how many years, Katie Ishii?
28.
28 years, a toy convoy. Tell it, girl.
Well, I'm so excited this year, I can't breathe. It's going to be huge this year. It's going to be 78 degrees, 5% chance of rain. And God not only smiles on this convoy, he's grinning this year. And anyway, our Grand Marshal this year is J.T. Cooper. He's a singer-songwriter, which I didn't know. I just knew he was a machine gunner from Black Hawk Down. And then when I finally caught up with him, it took me a year to catch up with this guy, going to Murfreesboro, knocking on his door, and he says, yeah, I love kids, anything for the kids I'm in. So he's going to be our Grand Marshal, and I said, do you have a picture I could use off Facebook? He said, you don't know what I'm doing now, do you? I said, I don't have a clue. And he says, I have warrior rounds. And he takes 20 soldiers, puts them in a room with 20 songwriters. They share their story, they put it to music, and then they do a concert for the families. And I was like, wow. I mean, just really touched my heart. This guy's just really got a huge heart. And then our special guest is Webb Schmidt, and he's only 13, probably 14 now. And he's going to be playing with Virgil and Uncle Tom and Toby and whoever else they've got up there, because you never know who's going to show. Playing that music. They're going to do some Allman Brothers. And little Webb said to me one day, you know what my favorite Allman Brothers song is? I said, what's that? He said, Whipping Post. And I'm like, how many kids know Whipping Post?
13 years old.
13 years old.
If they're a player, a lot of them do, probably.
Yep. So I was just excited. But we line up. We're still lining up at the school, Raiders Academy. Lineup starts at 9. I get there at 9. There are people already in the parking lot. It's like a big cruise in. And then because if half the people that said they're coming show up, we might back this thing up to Summitville. And I'm not kidding. It was 5.5 miles long last year. And it's the most awesome feeling when you start rolling down the road, especially when you get in the hills and you got a long view.
Right.
And all you can see is American flag, and you look behind you, and all you see is American flag, and you know all those people are there just to help the kids.
Right.
And it's just the most awesome feeling in the world. But we go up, we'll hit 41 in Manchester, we have a police escort, and then we're going to go over to Beech Grove, take 64, and go into War Trace, over the tracks, around the hotel to Gwinnett Ayers Park, and then all the show cars will park up on the big circle drive through there. That helped so much last year with the parking for the show vehicles. And then the motorcycles will go down the walking trail.
Right.
And we're doing something a little bit extra this year, and I've caught flack in the past for doing this, but you heard it here first.
Right.
On Channel 6.
There you go.
With John Gray. And today's date, whatever it is, 2024, we are taking a load of blankets and teddy bears to the East Tennessee and Carolina kids.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because people wanted to help those kids. They've lost their home. There was no sense sending toys because they don't have a floor to put them on. Some of these kids will be in tents. And we were trying to think of something that would give comfort. And I've lived in the mountains. It's cold up there. So I thought little cuddly blankets and smaller teddy bears, nothing over 20 inches because there's no room.
Right.
And so I'm asking everybody, in addition to the toys they're bringing for the Middle Tennessee kids, which we're helping, to please add a cuddly blanket and a teddy bear for over there.
That's great.
For the hurricane kids.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And so lineup starts, like I said, at 9. Admission is $10 a carload, $20 if you show. We have a car, bike, Jeep, truck show, door prizes, trophies. You'll get 10 tickets when you come in, and those go towards your door prize drawings.
Right.
A little bird told me there's going to be some big door prizes going out this year.
Oh, good.
So I don't know if we got TVs, we've got computers, because we've done all of that in the past.
Right.
And it's just amazing the people that have stepped up and helped me this year. I mean, this started way back in the spring when this man donated a surprise for JT. And then as I was leaving his home, he said, Katie, do you want me to build you a guitar you can auction off? I said, you do that? He said, yeah, I'd love to do that. So we're going to be auctioning off a handmade guitar at the Convoy. I've got another art print. It's a signed and number artist print. It's Trump with a flag in the background. It's got like a faded out soldier and police officer on it. Dow hits 25,000 and all in the painting. And so I'm going to be auctioning that off also. So we've got some really nice door prizes this year and super big crowd coming. A lot of Patriots coming to meet JT. And
now is Don Gallagher? They're not in business anymore over there, are they?
Not in Wartrace. They have moved Gallagher's to Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro.
And there's a totally different guy. Don sold out to a younger guy.
Now, what was his son's name?
Stephen.
Stephen tried to run it for a while.
Yeah.
Stephen's a good player.
Yep, he is a good picker. And so it's going to be fun. Santa Claus will be there, Mrs. Claus will be there, and...
What color hair is she going to have?
White.
Not purple?
And that's why I did mine purple. I didn't want to be confused. And so, anyway, I like purple. You know, they
Purple's
call
a
me...
royal color.
That's right.
Regal.
Regal. But
so again, that starts off...
Sunday. Lineup starts at 9, we roll at noon.
Now that starts over at the
Raiders Academy.
What's that? At the old high school?
Oh, no, at the old junior high school, middle school. Coffee County Middle School.
Right off the interstate.
Right off exit 111 on Highway 55. It's right there on the right.
Well, that was a high school before it was a middle school, wasn't it? Maybe, I don't know.
No, it was a middle school.
That's where the football field is.
Yeah, there is a football field.
Well,
that's where
Manchester. That's where
we
Coffee
might be
County
filling up
plays
that.
Football.
We might be filling up that football field along with these cars that are coming.
Shoot out.
And
Toy Convoy, November the 3rd.
Yep, it's going to be awesome.
28 years.
28 years.
Good for you.
And they didn't think it was going to last.
They said you couldn't do it.
That's right.
And they said
nobody
you couldn't do it. And they said you couldn't do it. And then the year after that, they said you couldn't do it.
He said,
28 years later. They don't know you very well, do they? They do now.
Yeah, they do now. I've been here longer than they have.
There you go. Katie Itchy, ladies and gentlemen. Donate, donate, donate.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey.
Thank
it's
you.
always
I
fun
appreciate
to have
it.
You. All right.
I appreciate y'all.
All right, we'll be back after these messages.
The Bookshelf in Tullahoma is the fundraising arm of the Coffee County Literacy Council. Since 1988, the Literacy Council's goal and purpose has been to support and promote adult basic education in Coffee County. We enable individuals to complete their high school equivalency exam, which helps them get better jobs or continue into higher education. The Bookshelf at 114 Southwest Atlantic Street in Tullahoma is where we sell used books, which are donated to us by the community. Come see us, bring your books to donate, and join us as you find every genre of books that you can imagine.
I had a knee replacement, so they've got me in life care, which I'm very, very thankful for. I couldn't garden, I couldn't do my flower beds, I can't chase my little dogs. I have been in several therapy sessions for knees and back, and that's the best therapist I believe I've ever been to. It's tremendous because I'm able to walk again, but if it wasn't for the care, I wouldn't be where I am.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Parkview Senior Living, active, independent senior living at its finest.
Do you love sports? Then you should know about STEM. Because maximizing nutrition, analyzing peak muscle performance, calculating the perfect shot, and more are all made possible by science, technology, engineering, and math. In fact, there are more careers than ever in sports science. So if you have a passion for sports, then think about getting involved in STEM and improve everyone's game on and off the field. Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Welcome back. I have two of the finest guests in Tullahoma today, and I'm proud of that. Hope Nunley with the Chamber, and Trent McNabb, and everybody knows about Stan McNabb. And thank you guys for being here, and thank you for what you do. I think we're going to talk about Christmas Parade. Is that correct?
We are talking about the Christmas Parade, so thank you so much for having us.
Well, love having you. You always have good things to say, and it's amazing what all you guys do.
A lot of coffee goes into that.
Right. And so the Christmas Parade, the date, what is it?
So it's Friday, December 6th.
December 6th, so get your gear together and be ready for a fun time.
The 68th annual. It's been going on a few years now.
It's almost as old as I am.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gaining on it.
Right. You guys, it's wonderful. What are some of the special things? I know have we announced to the public who the people are? The
Grand Marshal.
Grand Marshal. I can't even think what to say.
Yes, we have. I'll let Trent take the lead on that one.
Well, I tell you, it's exciting. So this year's Grand Marshals, RJ and Sandy Hayes,
and that's wonderful.
Which so many people know in the community. I mean, they've done so much.
They
for the
are.
community.
They're the most working people and the giving of themselves and their talents to the community, and that's awesome.
And it was great this year. You know, the Christmas Parade committee that the chamber sent out for the nominations. And we had 200 nominations this year, which was just incredible response.
That is an incredible response. And it's nice that people are calling in and telling you what.
Yes, and it even makes it more great, I think, that RJ and Sandy, selected out of that bunch. I mean, they are very deserving of it, but makes it even more special, I think.
I know RJ comes at the Civic Center and works all the time. He's absolutely amazing. And Sandy, same way, all over town doing whatever's necessary. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I loved the theme. I think we might have talked about this before, but give me that theme one more time.
It's planes, trains, and candy canes.
And that was chosen from a child.
Yes.
Which I think is beautiful.
Yes. Santa makes a very special visit to Tullahoma in August. And so he does require quite a bit of AC in his sleigh to go visit all of the elementary schools.
He's a busy man.
He is a busy man, but he takes time out for the children in Tullahoma, and he distributes the theme contest to all the elementary schools. And then the committee has the privilege of reading through each and every nomination, and there's hundreds of nominations from the children, and of course just the things that the children, their ideas that they have in their drawings. It's just a really special, fun meeting to get
children can come up with. And was it an easy selection this time?
It never is like super easy. No, because
sometimes one will pop out.
Yes, but you just have to keep voting and narrowing them down, and there was a third grader from Robert E. Lee who won this year, Kyle Oberstadt.
And good for you, Kyle.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's kind of indicative of the area, planes, trains. And
oh, yes.
I love that. It tells who we are and what we are, and that's beautiful.
Yes.
How many people have lined up so far, or do you know, to be in the parade? How many entries?
I think that we're almost to 20 at this point. So.
And so you're still looking for more?
Oh, always.
Do you just take them till the contest is ended, or?
As far as the registration for the parade, the deadline to register is Monday, December 2nd.
Okay,
so
December
if you want
2nd.
to be in the parade, yes, Monday, December 2nd.
And where does the parade start?
Yeah, so this year, you know, we tried to reverse the route last year, but we're going to go back to the way it was 2 years ago. So we'll start actually a little different. We'll still line up in front of South Jackson Performing Arts Center.
And is that when we light the tree?
Yeah, so there's another thing we can talk about the Grand Marshal reception, but on the parade route, it'll actually start at the chamber this year. So it used to start at the post office, and we'd line up back to.
At the chamber.
But we're going to move it up a block and start actually at the chamber there.
And can the Santa throw candy this year?
We don't.
Sometimes.
Well, we don't encourage anyone, including Santa, to throw candy from a moving float, because we know there are some great arms in this community, but they're still not quite reaching the crowd sometimes, and then the children
might run out
are running into the street to pick things up, and so it really is, from a safety standpoint, that we say if you want to distribute candy, you can go to the crowd and distribute it that way.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes.
It's a wonderful time, and kids love it, and adults too.
Oh, yes.
I've always loved the parade.
Oh, yes.
And I hope I can get somewhere near to see what's going on. And will both of you be involved in the parade as it goes down the road? Are you on a float or anything?
Oh, no.
Hope's in the command center.
Oh, okay.
She's got to make sure all the judging.
Yeah,
there's
you're
a lot
running things, so you are busy. Well, this new place it's not that new, that we're recording from is a perfect place because we have a porch now.
Yes.
And it's really a good place to video, and we're excited about that.
And you'll be partnering with your friends at TUA this year.
Exactly.
Yes, that's wonderful.
And I think it's really unique that a small town like this has 2 TV studios. I love that. Anyway, so sponsors, are you still taking sponsorships?
We do have one sponsorship that we are seeking to fill. That's the Jingle Bell Award second place. And so if a business would like to support that category, there will be a banner carried in front of the float that they choose in that category with their business name on it, and then they get to be a part of the award process at the December Chamber Coffee. They get to have a representative from their company present and the photos, and so great opportunity to support the community and
get some good publicity.
Yes, yes.
Trent, I'm assuming Stan McNabb is coming up with a fine vehicle to haul the
That's
parade.
right. We got to have something good for RJ and Sandy to lead the parade down the road, and it's a little different. We have had 2 grand marshals before. You know, typically it's 1, but having 2, you know, we need to make sure we can accommodate both of them and go down through there. And you touched on it earlier, but the night before the parade, we'll have the grand marshal reception.
Right.
And that's open to the community, to the public. We invite and hope everybody will come. But Thursday, December 5th at 5 p.m. at South Jackson Performing Arts Center, and it'll be just a little reception to honor RJ and Sandy. We'll also be lighting the Christmas tree that night.
And I think, but I hate to now, I think all our Christmas trees will be decorated. Do you know what we do at the city?
trees of Christmas.
I think the trees of Christmas should be up.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm not positive anymore the day they go up, but we're excited about that. It's always beautiful and fun to see, and I think the parade this year will be fabulous.
We do too.
And are you working hard all the time at it?
The committee starts meeting in July, and so it is a big project, and it takes a lot of people.
If somebody out there that doesn't know and they want to make an entry, who do they call? They just call the chamber?
Sure. Yeah, they can register on our website, tullahoma.org, and if they have any issues with the registration process, they can give us a call at the chamber.
Okay, and then you'll. Oh, you want me to wrap this up, Julia? Just say it. It's okay. Trent and Hope, how gracious it is of you to do what you do for this community. I just can't tell you how pleased I am to have you on this show, and we'll have you back soon, and we'll be back with more information.
Hi, my name is Ringo, here at Barkview Senior Living. They're human-friendly. That's why I love it here, and so does my senior human. When they want a bite, they get chef-prepared meals, and so do I. Movies in the theater, day trips, walks on the trail, and other senior humans to play with. The grass and the grounds are exquisite. It's everything my human needs to be healthy and active. Barkview. A Parkview Senior Living. For your dog's best friend, you.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes. Look at that. You turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you got to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
We teach Parkinson's patients how to move big and not let the Parkinson's slow them down. I've had patients I've treated in-house that could not even stand up, could not roll over in the bed, left the facility walking with a walker, have come back to us in outpatient and continued their big program and are now completely, handling life. The success of the program is just phenomenal.
Let us champion your recovery. Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop with Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration, your #1 hometown HVAC company. We offer dependable and reliable service on all your HVAC equipment. We also offer high-efficiency trained cooling units. Call us for your cooling needs. Your comfort is what we do.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman. This is Pat Welch, and John, we're here today for segment 67 of the Conversation with John and Pat. Going along. 67's a good year. I think John Gray graduated that year. Was that right? If it's not, he should have if he didn't. My brother Jim Rickman graduated that very same year. A little song I wrote several years ago about how people don't have a sense of humor no more. I think this is sort of a good lead. Yeah, it would be. It would be. Well, me and Brother Jimmy was a-fishing one day, wasn't catching nothing, so we put our poles away. Went to the barn while the sun was still bright and brought back a case of Daddy's dynamite. Well, we blowed that fish and oh, the kingdom come, and we saw the warden coming, and away we run. He ran us all the way to our front door. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. They don't laugh, they just get sore. Just to have a little fun is a doggone chore, 'cause folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Well, the circus came to town, me and Cousin David went. Never had we seen such a great big tent. We saw the clowns and the elephants led by the band. Then me and Cousin David came up with a plan. We cut the ropes to the tent and the tent fell down. Should have seen the folks crawling and rolling on the ground. They cussed us and told us we was rotten to the core. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. They don't laugh, they just get sore. Just to have a little fun is a doggone choke. 'Cause folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Well, me and Cousin Billy was looking for a snack, so we made our way to a watermelon patch. Loaded Cousin Billy's old pickup down, and we hauled them melons to the nearest town. But we saw the farmer coming, and away we run. He ran us all the way to our front door. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. They don't laugh, they just get sore. Just to have a little fun is a doggone choke. 'Cause folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Well, Pat. Excellent, John. Excellent. I missed the last line. He shot at us with a 44. You came right out of that. He shot at us with a 44. Folks ain't got a sense of humor no more. Doggone, spend all this time writing a song and then can't even get it out. No, you did fine. Did fine. Pat, Halloween. Halloween is coming up. And if management times this taping with Halloween, will be just about right. So management's got a great responsibility here. And the annex that we're going to talk about that took place in the 60s, we can't allow that to happen now. Society is different, laws are different, things that kids might have done that the police would have taken home to their parents, and they'd have to take you to jail now. So we're not encouraging in any form or fashion that young people would in 2017 would act like they might have. And if folks out there can't listen to this and abide by what we say, I mean, Correct. Don't do it. Correct. Just listen to the story. That's right. They need to cut us off. Yeah, probably need to turn the TV off and come back to the next sponsor. But we've got a good Halloween story, and I think John's got one. But the one I heard recently that I hadn't previously came from the Banks brothers, Randy and Kenny, and they were raised up around White Oak Street, around Highland Baptist. And when they were young teenagers, they would be pretty frisky at Halloween, and they went out with the Welch brothers, and that's not my family. This is WELCH, and they were Barney Welch's boys, Gary and Brad. And Barney was a longtime alderman in Tullahoma, and Gary and Brad Gary was in my class, I think, and Brad was about 3 or 4 behind, and they were both really big guys, heavy. And though they were, Gary was a good athlete, he was a good little league pitcher. But anyway, they had gone out in anticipation for their Halloween hijinks. They were going to throw rotten eggs. And they went out to the Ferris Egg Farm, and we talked about Pat and Willie Bell Ferris, a segment not long ago. And Miss Ferris would sell old eggs for $10 a dozen, and they bought, Kenny told me, about 30 or 40 dozen eggs. And I can't imagine. But they peppered half of Tullahoma with those eggs and got tired. Mm-hmm. And they went by the Tullahoma radio station at the time, JIG on West Side Drive, and Benj Jordan, who recently passed away and was our friend and a great guy. He was the DJ at night, and he signed off, and then he was going to participate with these boys, and they decided the way to get rid of the last eggs at one big lick was to call the police station and say the report a wreck at the intersection of West Side Drive and Carroll Street, where today Tullahoma Funeral Home is. And at that time, that lot there'd been a lot of earth moving going on, but mostly it was really grown up with some trees in there, and there was a big mound. And they got behind the mound and hid behind it, and when the police all showed up, they said about 3 or 4 squad cars came out, and they peppered them real good with those last of those eggs. And of course, the police weren't real happy about it, and they chased them from that hill. And they started back towards the radio station. And Randy, being the younger and a good little wiry athlete, he started climbing a tree to hide from them, and he said he was about 30 or 40 feet up in the air, and he knew he's never going to be found. But Brad Welch, he probably wasn't 7 or 8 years old at the time, a little bit heavy, and he got up to, he said, the first branch as far as he could go, and he sat on the branch, and his feet dangling off about 3 foot above the ground. It said it like an elephant hiding behind a watermelon or something, you know. He said there wasn't any way. So of course Brad was the first one caught, and then they went towards the radio station and got in. And Kenny was hiding under a desk, and Benz went into a closet. And the policeman that was checking those doors and closets and so forth, he was really, really thin, and had his revolver and his nightclub and all that. The handcuffs had been in there, and about to pull his pants down to start with. And he opened the door, and I was standing up for Benz was standing like this, and it looked like a mummy in there. And when he opened the door, Benz went boo, and the policeman just came completely unglued. He just went frantic, almost fell down, and pulled his revolver out. And Kenny saw it, or at least heard the boo and the reaction that it got. He started laughing, so they rounded all of them up, of course, real easy, and took them back to their parents. And again, that wouldn't, you won't go back to your parents now if somebody thinks that's cute today. You're going to Manchester jail. Yes, sir. But that is a Halloween prank that was pulled, that's 50 years ago or more, and not to be emulated now.
No, sir, not a bit. And things like that went on in Chapel Hill too. It might have been at a greater scale in Chapel Hill because there were no policemen over there at all during that time. There was a night watchman, and there was pumpkins thrown and eggs and this sort of thing, and it was a night of havoc, which I'm glad to see there's not as much of that going on now.
Yeah.
But little kids go out with their candy, and then they bring it home, and then the parents can eat it. I like that, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's Halloween was just a night that my parents said they just hated more than anything else, because I wanted to go out with my friends, and they knew that we didn't have many good ideas in mind.
Right, and they've had an idea that you might be involved in.
That's right.
Yeah. John, did you have a story?
Oh, well, it's away from Halloween just a little bit, and I'll be real quick about it because I know we're running out of time. But I'm going to use a fictitious name because I haven't got permission from the fellow to use his name, but he was in a rock and roll group back in the 60s, just like I was. And but they practiced during the week, and they played gigs on the weekend, and they had a group, and they music was the center of their life back that time. And he was a student at Tullahoma High School, and Mr. Garrison was a principal. And
this would have been in the late 50s then, or
mid 60s.
Okay,
mid 60s. A garage group like so many had back that time, and I'm gonna call him Donnie Smith for just to use that name. But anyway, Donnie was called to the office by Mr. Garrison. It's really happened. And Mr. Garrison said, "I understand, Donnie, that you aren't, your grades are slipping and you aren't doing well in class, and what's the problem?" He said, "Well, Mr. Garrison, I just want to be upright with you. I don't have time for school. I'm so busy playing music, I'm going to be a professional musician." He says, "You are, well, I tell you what's your daddy's phone number?" And he said, "Well, you can't reach him. He works out at AEDC." "Well, what's your mother's phone number?" "Oh, she works out there too, and you can't call her either." So Mr. Garrison gives Donnie a number, and he says, "Oh, I want your daddy to call me tomorrow." So what am I going to do now? Donnie's worried. He's worried. He says next day he has one of these boys that don't come to school regular anyway, and this boy had a deep voice. And he told him to go down to the washateria in Tullahoma, you know, where the washing machines and the dryers were going, where it sounded like the wind tunnel.
Oh, that's great.
And he calls Mr. Garrison, this kind of a dropout boy.
Puts 2 quarters in the dryer and starts the phone call.
Yeah, Mr. Garrison, I understand you're having a little trouble, my son. I'll straighten that out. Don't you worry about it. I'll take care. He fooled Mr. Garrison. Now, this gentleman has made a good businessman and a good person. And so anyway, everybody has a little mischievous behavior sometime when they're young, and we don't recommend it, but it happened. It happened years ago.
It happened, and we're just acknowledging history and not encouraging it.
That's right.
All right, John, that wraps up segment 67 of the Conversation with John and Pat, and we're hoping and pleading for management to let us come back because we still have a few stories to go. Thank y'all.
Talking history about this and that. It's Conversations with John and Pat, with John and Pat, with John and Pat.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
For many senior citizens, life looks like this, but it doesn't have to. When you make your home at Parkview Senior Living, life after retirement takes on a whole new meaning. Daily exercise options, fun outings, happy hour, game nights, movies and popcorn, arts and crafts, enjoying friends over chef-prepared meals. Parkview Senior Living, where you're always home, but you're never home alone.
Hi, I'm Terry Stroop with Stroop's Accurate Refrigeration, your #1 hometown HVAC company. We offer dependable and reliable service on all your HVAC equipment. We also offer high-efficiency trained cooling units. Call us for your cooling needs. Your comfort is what we do.
It's summer, call Stroop.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
I don't know where we went, but we're back. Hey, I've been looking for a story. I found a story years ago, and I think it's one of the most beautiful stories I've ever read. And I lost it, and I couldn't find it. This is the perfect time of year for it. The name of this story is Ole and Trufa. It's a story of 2 leaves. And this was written years and years, generations ago by Isaac Bashevis in one of those northern European countries. Bear with me, but I'll guarantee you the ending is worth the wait. The forest was large and thickly overgrown with all kinds of leaf-bearing trees. It was the month of November. Usually it's cold this time of year, and it even happens that it snows. But this November was relatively warm. The nights were cool and windy, but as soon as the sun came out in the mornings, it turned warm. You might have thought it was summer, except that the whole forest was strewn with fallen leaves, some yellow, some saffron, some red, some wine, some the color of gold, and some of mixed color. The leaves have been torn down by the rain, by the wind, some by day, some by night, and they now formed a deep carpet over the forest floor. Although their juices had run dry and the leaves still exuded a pleasant aroma, the sun shone and flies, which had somehow survived the autumn storms, crawled over them. The space beneath held many creatures who sought protection in the earth, the birds that didn't migrate to warmer climates. In the winter, they stay beneath, perched on a bare tree limbs. Among them were sparrows, tiny birds, but endowed with much courage and experience accumulated through thousands of generations. They hopped, twittered, and searched for the food the forest offered this time of year. Many, many insects and worms had perished in recent weeks, but no one mourned their loss. God's creatures now that death is merely a phase of life. God's creatures know that death is merely a phase of life. With the coming of spring, the forest will again fill with grasses, green leaves, blossoms, and flowers. The migrating birds will return from the far-off lands and locate their abandoned nest. Even if the wind and rain had disturbed the nest, it would still be easily fixed. On the tip of a tree, which had lost all its other leaves, two still remained. One leaf was named Ole, and the other Trufa. Ole and Trufa both hung from one twig. Since they were at the very tip of the tree, they received lots of sunlight. For some reason unknown to Ole and Trufa, they had survived the rains, all the cold nights and winds, and still clung to the tip of the twig. Who knows the reason one leaf falls and another remains? But Ole and Trufa believed the answer lay in the great love that they bore for one another. Ole was slightly bigger than Trufa and a few days older, but Trufa was prettier and more delicate. One leaf can do this for another when the wind blows, the rain pours, or the hail begins to fall. It even happens in summer that a leaf may be torn loose. Come autumn, the winter, nothing can be done. Still, Ole encouraged Trufa at every opportunity during the worst storms, when the thunder clapped and the lightning flashed and the wind tore off not only leaves but whole branches. Ole pleaded with Trufa, "Hang on, Trufa, hang on with all your might." At times during the cold and stormy nights, Trufa would complain, "My time has come, Ole, but you hang on." "For what?" Ole asked. "Without you, my life is senseless. If you fall, I'll fall with you." "No, Ole, don't do it. So long as a leaf can stay up, it must do so." "It all depends if you stay with me," Ole replied. By day, I look at you and admire your beauty. At night I sense your fragrance. Be the only leaf on the tree. No, never. Ole, your words are so sweet, but they're not true, Trufa said. You know very well that I'm no longer pretty. Look at how wrinkled I am. All my juices are dried, and I'm ashamed before the birds. They look at me with such pity. At times it seems to me they're laughing at how shriveled I've become. I've lost everything, but one thing is still left in me, my love for you. Isn't that enough? Of all our powers, love is the highest and finest, Ole said. So long as we love each other, we remain here, and no wind, rain, or storm can destroy us. I'll tell you something, Trufa. I never loved you as much as I love you now. Why, Ole? I'm all yellow. Who says green is pretty and yellow is not? All colors are equally handsome. And just as Ole spoke those words, that which Trufa had feared all these months happened. A wind came up and tore Ole loose from the twig. Trufa began to tremble and flutter until it seemed that she too would soon be torn away. But she held fast. She saw Ole fall and sway in the air, and she called to him in leafy language, "Oh, Ole, come back, Ole, Ole." But before she could finish, Ole vanished from sight. He blended in with the other leaves on the ground, and Trufa was left alone on the tree. So long as it was still day, Trufa managed somehow to endure her grief. But when it grew dark and cold, and a piercing rain began to fall, she sank into despair. However, somehow she felt that the blame for all the leafy misfortunes lay with the tree. The trunk, with all its mighty limbs, leaves fell, but the trunk stood tall, thick and firmly rooted in the ground. No wind, no rain, nor hail could upset it. What did it matter to the tree what probably lived forever, what became of a leaf? To Trufa, the trunk was kind of God. It covered itself with leaves for a few months, then it shook them off. It nourished them with its sap for as long as it pleased, then let them die of thirst. Trufa pleaded with the tree to give her back Ole and make it summer again. But the tree didn't heed or refused to heed her prayers. Trufa didn't think a night could be so long as this one, so dark, so frosty. She spoke to Ole and hoped for an answer, but Ole was silent, gave no sign of his presence. Trufa said to the tree, "Since you've taken Ole from me, take me too." But even this prayer the tree did not acknowledge. After a while, Trufa dozed off. This wasn't sleep, but a strange languor. Trufa awoke, and to her amazement, found that she was no longer hanging on the tree. The wind had blown her down while she was asleep. This was different from the way she used to feel when she awoke on the tree with the sunrise. All her fears and anxieties had now vanished. The awakening also brought with it the awareness she had never felt before. She knew now that she wasn't just a leaf that depended on every whim of the wind, but that she was part of the universe. She no longer was small or weak or transient, but part of eternity. Through some mysterious force, Trufa understood the miracle of her molecules, atoms, protons, electrons, the enormous energy she represented, and the divine plan of which she was a part. Next to her lay Ole, and they greeted each other with a love they hadn't been aware of before. This wasn't a love that depended on chance or caprice, but a love as mighty and eternal as the universe itself. That which they had feared all the days and nights between April and November turned out to be not death, but redemption. A breeze came and lifted Ole and Trufa in the air, and they soared with the bliss known only by those who freed themselves and have joined eternity.
Wow, that's lovely.
What a story.
It really is.
Thank you for allowing me to bring that to you. I hope you see the beauty in it that I found in it, and I hope it brings some joy to you. And remember, we're all just part of eternity. We'll be back after these messages.
Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department needs you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches, and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. 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 Woo.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size.
Yeah.
Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the fun things we do is jaw with Jackie.
Hey, Jackie, how are you?
All right.
That's right. Welcome to Jawing with Jackie.
Thank you.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah. How's everybody?
Oh, good. We're anxious to see what's going on in your life.
Well, everything goes on in my life every day, I'm going to tell you. Oh, God.
You do have a good sense of what's important in life.
Well, you're right, and I think I do got a good. If you feel good about life, it's a blessing to. Ain't no doubt about it. And when you kind of understand it better, I understand it a little bit better every day.
Every day,
The older I get, And with each ache and pain, you understand I ain't going to be here forever, and it's not meant to be. And you kind of wonder what life is really all about, I mean, why are we here? We know the stories in the Bible about how life began and all this in the beginning and all this. And the more you think about it, you think, well, we got kicked out of heaven, so we're down here trying to redeem ourselves, and get back up there. So and that's why we go from time to eternity. So it's, I understand that a little bit better. And a lot of people just don't think about it, But the thing about it, and this is getting far away from that, but there's I was listening to TV, and there's an event coming up about Opryland, and we kind of mentioned that just a minute ago. On this week, it's they're kind of reminiscing, I think, and there are a lot of stories about Opryland, and it brought back some old memories for me. Because when I was a lot younger, we started a little. I told the story once before about this little gospel group that we had locally. There were several. Ronnie McGee was one of the baddest guitar players around here.
I've heard he was awesome.
Yeah, Ronnie, and I've known some great guitar players. I've always loved guitar music, and I always kind of wanted to play a guitar, and I think I got a couple of them, but I've never learned to play either one of them, But bottom line, and I'm still consider that. But bottom line is that we had this little gospel group and had some great musicians in there. Ronnie played guitar, and I think Doyle Pentecost played drums. We had another guy, Richard Dixon, that played bass guitar. And we were pretty good around here for a while. We were just
I'm sure you
really
were.
going it, and we were. It probably kept me out of the streets, kept a lot of us out of the streets, and maybe caused our lives to go in the direction they went. Well, my life has always been in this direction, but I was brought up with according to the way you were brought up, where you were, and I told this before that. When you're young, and said the Bible says, bring up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart. Well, then, and I was brought up in the church, and at Mount Zion Baptist Church, where I still am. My grandmama was holding me in her arms out in front of it, in a picture that I got, and that was such a blessing and such great reminiscing when I do that. And so, bottom line is that if you bring your children up right, as a rule, you got one every now and then, a little hard-headed, but have to drag them back in line every now and then. But
they usually come back.
But they usually come back. Yeah, they do.
And like the prodigal son.
That's right. That's what this life is about. There's going to always be some ups and downs and ins and outs and all that. But bottom line is that I came back, and during that period, that's when this helped to bring me back, because I mentioned before, I would stop on Fridays at when I got off work out there and go by the NCO club, and a little Chivas and water and whatever else, and that would be fine for me, and be there for a little while and all this, and that's kind of how Fridays went there until we got this. I got in this little gospel group, and we started having programs on Friday nights, and they gave me something to do Friday. I ain't going to no church, but after having drink a little bit, I drank anything before that. I said no, so I cut all that out. Those extracurricular activities, I cut them out. They weren't benefiting me in any kind of way. I knew that, and just bringing me down more than anything, or setting me up for a takedown. But anyway, we would go out and we'd do the gospel shows and all this. Well, one time, and this is getting back to where we're talking about the Opryland thing. We decided they were doing, when Opryland first opened, and this was probably back in the '60s, I guess. They were auditioning for people, for groups to come and sing. And so,
you all auditioned?
And they were looking for a gospel group.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so, we decided, let's do this. Young and energetic and ready to go. And we took off one day, all of us, and loaded up and went to Nashville. And everybody went kind of separately, but we all, wound up there together and everything. And we went and did an audition at Opryland and did a good job, I thought. And so anyway, but when we got through, you know, everybody seemed to really like us and all this, and so we broke out of there. We were very happy and full of energy still, and we could have gone and sang somewhere else, but you know that wasn't happening. But so we went out and we were very pleased with what we'd done, our performance, and then we got out to the parking lot and we were just kind of looking around and seeing what was going on and going back to the cars, and all of a sudden this long car pulls up and car. I tell everybody this car was longer than George Washington's been dead. This is a long car. And so anyway, but the car pulled up and the window rolled down, you know, kind of slowly and automatic. And this head poked up there and says, "Y'all sounded mighty good there, neighbor." And we looked up and it was Roy Acuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yes. And so anyway, he really, that was a compliment. Oh God, that coming
Sure
from him.
it was,
Yes.
yeah.
Coming from him, we felt great, you know. We felt, yes, you know, and all this, but we still never got to go back.
Never got the call.
We never got the call to come back, you know, to do the show or anything. And but speaking still on Opryland, which they're having some kind of acknowledgement of Opryland or reminiscence of it on Thursday of this week, and.
So it's about the Opryland show itself, not Grand Ole Opry.
I think it's about
it's about the park.
The park, Opryland Park.
That's okay.
Yeah, and I think this is just, I don't know, might be everything to do with Opryland, you know, but
I hated to see that close.
But
I can't believe they closed.
I can't either.
Well, I thought it was doing pretty good myself, you know, I guess, but then again, I don't know about their finances, but, you know, yeah, so. Anyway, we never.
I would have thought the state would have bought that because that hotel.
It's beautiful.
Convention hotel, and it was absolutely perfect. You could be in a convention meetings, and your kids can go right over here to this park.
Yeah.
It's safe.
I agree.
You know, and it puts so many young entertainers to work.
True. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Hank, who is it that does Hank?
Oh, Andrew. You're talking about Andrew?
No, the one that's done it for years. That comes to South Jackson. He's been on Broadway.
Oh, he lives over in Manchester.
Yeah, lives on the other side of Manchester. He did Hank up there.
And he's fabulous.
In Opryland. John Rickman and his brother and them played.
Hey, John Rickman's been everywhere.
Yeah.
I see it.
You know, and Mandy Barnett did Crazy.
Oh, Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline out there, you know, and I mean there was all kinds of.
They had really good shows.
Musicians.
It was very entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think they were wrong not to choose your group.
Well,
I bet you were fabulous.
I entertained them further one day, and I don't know whether it was during that same time, that same trip, or it was another trip maybe, because I've been there limited number of times, and so but. I rode you ever ride the Old Mill Scream?
Oh yeah.
The Old Mill Scream, where you're screaming when you're going down and small roller coaster, kind of like, yeah.
And then you hit that water.
Yeah, then you hit that water, yeah. Well, I was riding that thing one time, and we went, and it hit that water, and boy, and there people were screaming, and girls, young ladies, and old ladies, and young and old men too. All of them were screaming, I think. But anyway, it didn't bother me that bad, you know. But bottom line is that all of a sudden the ride stopped.
Oh no.
Yeah, it just stopped right in the middle of everything, and everybody was looking around trying to figure out what had happened, and I noticed I was missing my hat.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I said, oh God, this thing's done really done it. Well, what had happened was we just hit something up there, I guess one of those big dips, and my hat came off and went under the Old Mill Scream machine or something, and wound up stopping the ride.
And stopped the ride.
And I stopped the
Only Jackie
I stopped the ride, and somebody was hollering, what's wrong? Everybody hollering. Finally, somebody came out and retrieved the hat out there, And
it was your.
And it was my hat.
Was it torn up?
No, it wasn't torn up. It was okay. I think I put that sucker back on and wore it home. Yeah. Well, anyway, while we were sitting there waiting, and somebody, people pulled out the culprit. It was that hat that had stopped it, and some guy was sitting over there close to me, and I could hear him said, that's what stopped it, and said, I wouldn't claim it though. said, I wouldn't claim it. They sat there, and oh boy, they were waiting on, trying to see where it was going and everything. I think I wound up, I eased around there, and I claimed it a little bit later, and then I said, oh boy, the hat that stopped the old mill screen.
There you go.
And I think I might still have that sucker there. I don't know, but I never labeled it. I should have.
You got something you want to read today? Because we're down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
I could read something all the time, but I've got a poem. I got a friend that used to work in the same office together, and he was my buddy. And his name was he was my brother. I called him my brother because his name was Duncan too, George Duncan. So anyway, I just talked to him the other day, and he's gone through some medical situations.
So you wrote this for him?
Well, I wrote this for him when he left, when we retired, and so it's called "Escape from the Zoo," the final chapter. I'll just go ahead and read it. It says, what started out as a sanctuary till some hellraiser launched a coup. So all the animals went stark raving mad, so they called it the Aero Zoo. That's when everybody called the Arnold Engineering Development Center Aero. CCO, which were a group where we worked in, Central Computer Operation. CCO is the A&E building, was the zoo's official address. A bunch of radical, unruly beasts started the whole stinking mess. Lately, it became less ruly than it was in all the years before. The locks had been taken off the cage, and they even left open the door. So most of the animals are old now, unlike in their younger days. When they'd find the latch left open, they'd go crazy and all run away. When the last zookeeper finally left, he barely got out with his life. He hated to leave, but he finally went home to be with his dog and his wife, in that order. And his dog first. So the company then sent a new keeper, but he really didn't know what to do. So the animals would always mess in the floor and all over the keeper's new shoes. This attitude left him unhappy. His new empire was going to pot. But then the contract split, and the companies came and picked over the entire lot. The punk went straight, we call him the punk. The punk went straight to rockets systems out there. While research claimed a few, all the other branches came and got their share of them too. They fervently prayed as their years grew short for the day that soon all go home. But then by that time, they'd all all their get up had gotten up and gone. This is part of it.
Well, we'll get to the other part.
Have a good
the rest of it.
John and Jackie.
Thank you.
Hey, we say goodbye.